Hey, what's going on, everybody? Chris Meaney here of FTNBets.com, checking in with the NHL Puck Report for Monday, April 12th. 7 games on the ice tonight, so plenty of action over at FTNBets.com. If you're looking for a subscription, head to FTNBets.com/pricing. Use that promo code Meaney. Get yourself a bit of a discount. We'll be giving picks until that Stanley Cup is raised, and playoffs just a month away. It's starting to get very exciting in the NHL. So 7 games, as I mentioned. I ran through them all over at Fantasy Hockey Picks and Bets, presented by Prize Picks over at the Media Network. It is a free show. I'm on there Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but it is a show 5 days per week. Actually 6 when you include Matt Best, the producer of our show. He gives some picks as well on Sunday. So head on over there if you want a breakdown of all the games, but FTNBets.com for several different picks. You can jump into our Discord chat as well. Great conversation in there, always with some picks and some props. It's a great group of people, very sharp minds. We've been having some fun. So let's bring up the record on the season, 96.33 units. Saturday was an awful day, just a couple between 500. We got lucky late, got a few picks, but it felt like a brutal day. Did not feel good at all about it, but yesterday bounced back strong, 12-3 overall. So we're up to 96.33 units, 50.86 on the prop side of things, and that's where I'm going to start today. As I mentioned, the 7 games, so lots of action, of course. You don't need me to break down the Avs guys. If you've been watching, you've been following along. I like Mikko Rantanen. I like Nathan MacKinnon. These are guys that I usually take every single time. Mikko Rantanen's got the best price. Actually, Nathan MacKinnon has the best price at William Hill Sportsbook at -145. And for Rantanen, he's flirting with about -170. Get him into some parlays there. I would choose Rantanen over Nathan MacKinnon. I would choose the 3 shots as opposed to the 4. But let's give you a few other plays because you know that by now. The Colorado guys, Austin Matthews, Tyler Toffoli, Kyle Connor. These are guys that I always bring up. But let's give a couple other picks. Timo Meier, William Hill Sportsbook, -149. He's got a matchup against the Ducks, so a pretty good spot for him. Anaheim ranks inside the top 10 in shot attempts allowed, shots, high danger chances, and scoring chances at 5 and 5 per 60 minutes over the last 6 weeks of the season. And Timo Meier has been really good of late. This is a volume shooter. A couple years ago, he broke out. 2019 wasn't great. Last year was a mess for a lot of people, but Meier is starting to pick it up lately. He's cleared 2.5 shots in 8 of his last 10 games. He has 3 games over this run where he's had at least 7 shots on goal. Twice 7 and once 8. So a good spot for Meier. I like him in DFS tonight. Him and Thomas Hertl have been pretty solid over the past month or so. Ever since Hertl was placed back in the lineup. He missed a couple weeks on the COVID list. I believe he had COVID. I don't want to speculate, but he did miss some time anyways. He was on the COVID-19 list. Continuing to keep things rolling here for shot props. Let's go with Andrei Svechnikov and Alex DeBrincat. You can catch both at William Hill. William Hill has got some great shot prop odds for sure. Across all the books, they may be the best in the biz. -125 for Svechnikov and -145 for Alex DeBrincat. Let's start with Svechnikov. At least 3 shots in 5 straight games against Detroit. So it seems like you always have to sweat it out with him. There was a point in the season where he was at -160, -175, and it's a fade. But -125 is not a bad price for Andrei Svechnikov against the Detroit Red Wings, who have played Carolina very tight. The season series is tied at 3 wins each, and Detroit beat them the other night. So I'm not saying to get involved with the Wings, but +300 is pretty interesting. It's certainly on the puck line, but Svechnikov for me, shot props were going to go for that game as opposed to taking anybody on the money line there. And then Alex DeBrincat, who, is picking it up lately. There was another, just like Svechnikov, a point where his price got up to -200 in some spots, 3.5 shots. He has a matchup against the Columbus Blue Jackets, who traded away their captain just the other night. Nick Foligno gone to the Maple Leafs, and then David Savard gone to the Tampa Bay Lightning. So I still think they have some players there that are decent, but you take away Savard, Werenski's already gone. So, the feeling in the dressing room can't be great for Columbus, and they just haven't been a consistent hockey team. Chicago, they could probably smell an opportunity at the playoffs. I expect those guys, like their top players like DeBrincat, playing with Doc and Kane, to get a lot of ice time. And DeBrincat's been decent lately too, so he's had at least 3 shots in 4 straight games. So it's a pretty good price for him. Over at DraftKings, you can bet on 0 points. Now, I had Joel Eriksson Ek to have 0 points and I had Anthony Mantha to have 0 points. Now, the Wild game is postponed and Mantha was traded to the Capitals. And by the way, I think he's a great season-long pickup. He only has a couple games next week for Washington. But, if you're in a roto league, you need some shots. There's some upside there for Mantha. And even in a head-to-head league, if you're going to get a bye, right, you're not going to play fantasy hockey playoffs next week, then you don't have to worry about those 2 games. But also at the same time, if you have a bye, you probably have a good team and nobody to drop. But Mantha is a guy that I would pick up, and I've looked and I've picked him up in a couple spots, season-long formats. But off that rant, let's go to Christian Dvorak, 0 points against the Avs. Minus 162 is a little high. But Jonathan Drouin here, minus 139, 0 points against the Maple Leafs. He's been very, very quiet, held without a point in 8 straight games. He only has 1 goal over his past 33 games. He's not shooting the puck a lot. The effort has been there from Drouin, but, and he's also on the power play. He's not shooting, and I tend to target pass-first guys when it comes to these 0 points, and you see Dvorak there, and you see Jonathan Drouin. So minus 139, pass-first guy. Jack Campbell's yet to lose. He's looked very strong. A tough matchup against the Maple Leafs for the Montreal Canadiens. So I will go with Drouin, 0 points. And the other guy here on the way out, Jonathan Marchessault, 2.5 shots, minus 135 against the LA Kings. He didn't hit last time, but he's been hitting more times than not. He's been clearing 2.5 shots. He did it actually 5. He went through a span of 8 games where he hit over 2.5 in 5 of them. So taking the over on Jonathan Marchessault as well. I got sides and totals and more props as well as some parlays over at FTNBets.com. I do like the Leafs tonight on the money line, but if you want some more picks, head on over to FTNBets.com and again, use that promo code Meaney. I appreciate a like on the video. If you have any questions, hit me up in the YouTube section or at Chris Meaney on Twitter. Thanks as always for hanging out. Good luck tonight. Let the winners be yours. We'll be back later this week. Cheers.